25 years of Minsk Live broadcast. We begin broadcasting the solemn inauguration ceremony of the newly elected President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko.
And you and I see the motorcade of the head of state, which is heading to the Independence Palace, the symbol of our statehood.
The car of the Belarusian leader is accompanied by an honorary escort of motorcyclists, and the clarity and coherence of movements always attracts the attention of the viewer. And you agree, it is both spectacular and very
beautiful. Well, by the way, escort motorcyclists deserves a separate mention, especially looking at how well they act. Today, the president's car is accompanied by 9 motorcyclists, 60 kilometers per hour. The constant speed of the motorcade in the television broadcast will show the route of 13 kilometers.
You are the tech buffs who are now peering around trying to determine the model. We suggest this Yamaha AG 1300 motorcycles. Now you can consider them up close in all the details. At the moment, in front of the main car of the motorcade are moving squares of 5 motorcycles, the distance between which you can only imagine is 25-30 centimeters and 2 motorcycles, as we can see on the right and left. Well, what does this say? That they have the best technology of the best? The outcome is headed by the head of the Special Unit Service of DP Skrill, Police Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Komisarov. He is, of course, on a motorcycle.
Well, there are no accidental details in such an important state ceremony as the presidential inauguration. The road of the presidential motorcade passes along the 2 main avenues of the Belarusian capital, Independence and Winners Avenue. And just now we saw how the motorcade passed the National Library of Belarus.
Yes, except that this is one of the main stocks of architectural wonders. Of course, it can be said that the library's holdings are more than 10 million books, and their 90,000 are rare manuscript with Tro-type buildings. They say it will take years to go through all the documents that are stored here.
Welcome to our President's motorcade. Residents of the city of Minsk, we know that some details have been revealed in the press on what specific avenues will our head of state pass, and of course, they come to Belarus to greet the president. We saw it in the broadcast footage.
You can say that the lucky ones could do it the day before during training and petitions. See, this ceremony is just taking place, at least the passage of the motorcade, so we could already observe something on social networks. It's really beautiful and deserves attention. Imagine at this moment having arrived in the Belarusian capital on an excursion and found such a historic prison.
There is a complete sense of presence, as if we, together with our president, are coming along the avenues of Minsk. The motorcade follows by Independence and Winners. Well, such a bright picture is provided by 9 mobile television stations, more than 60. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the equipment set up, because this is not a 13-0 thing. You have already appreciated the work of the quadcopter and the HEU cameras, always every detail of the motorcade and the scale of the event.
Let's add 11 units of special equipment here. Not the most important thing is people. More than 200 specialists are involved only in the technical part of providing the television picture and everything, so that, as they say, the picture rings.
Well, the motorcade is approaching another symbol, and not only architectural, which Belarusians and numerous tourists can easily guess from the forest, is the National Academy of Sciences. Again, we see welcoming spectators, welcoming Belarusians.
When we talk about the National Library, it is worth noting separately domestic space research and development, and of course achievements. This is also a symbol. A year ago, since March 23rd, 1. In the history of sovereign Belarus, female cosmonaut Marina Vasilevskaya went to the Ekonur Cosmodrome on the International Space Station. We all remember these emotional shots from orbit and at the moment of landing the capsule. Strengthened its status as a space power and did so beautifully in every sense. By the way, Marina Vasilevskaya, who cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky today among the guests of the inauguration ceremony, at these moments, together with other guests, they are waiting for the arrival of Alexander Lukashenko in Boretsky Independence.
Agree. It's nice to see such unity of Belarusians on this historic day for us. And of course, telegram work, those who drive cars and motorcycles. I want to say that the minimum distance between the car and the motorcycle for you is 30 centimeters in total. This is truly a piece of jewelry.
We must take it for granted that for modern video technology, we have the opportunity to enjoy not only but such a rare sight, a passing motorcade, but also to see unusual angles of the Belarusian capital itself. Someone says from the height of a key flight, goes beautifully with us.
And the motorcade is approaching the place of strength of the Belarusian people on Victory Square. By the way, the favorite place in the theme of Belarus, to which we come both on holidays and on memorable days to honor our heroes.
And of course, according to the news holidays, we see that foreign delegations are on the fool. This is the location Victory Square, and it is always a mandatory part of the protocol.
This year we celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Great Victory, which is completely special in 2025. However, Belarusians remember the signatures of their grandfathers and great-grandfathers and do not forget their stories.
Well, of course we understand, and once again we draw your attention to the fact that along the entire route along which the motorcade follows, this is good. Now you can accidentally see passers-by at the heels of the broadcast, as well as those who were specifically waiting for this opportunity to see this moment with their own eyes. Well, how can you remove it as a memory without this? Networks are absolutely necessary and absolutely obvious. Such a topic today will be the central posts of history. It's all really beautiful. An important ceremony, and without attracting it, is a historic moment. Well, we see that the motorcade is approaching the fighter of the Republic. Concerts, ceremonial events, the venue of the All-Belarusian People's Assembly. The 7th Forum in April last year was held under the motto, "Time chose us." It was held for the first time in a new capacity, which was fixed by the updated constitution as the chairman of the All-Belarusian People's Assembly. Passenger 7 was elected President Alexander Lukashenko.
Now, the Belarusian People's Assembly is the highest representative body of the people's power of the Republic of Belarus. Okay, how crowded it is on Oktyabrskaya Square in Minsk.
I think that the audience can only see them gathered, but hear them there. Excellent. You can hear it perfectly, even because of the independence. When we are shown footage from the Hall of Ceremonies, definitely. And by the way, in his orange speech in 1994, Alexander Lukashenko said the following: "First president should rise and rise above personal political preferences, will be open to the closest cooperation with all political forces. Ready for constructive work at the expense of Belarus." And all these years we see that Alexander Lukashenko does not back down from his words. Not coming periodically.
Well, how are you? Yes, on Pobeditli Avenue, and again, numerous spectators are welcoming our president. A beautiful day holiday, the day of unity of the Belarusian people in media. I want to say that representatives of various national TV channels are working together on this big event.
In general, it is necessary to recall that the inauguration is not just a ceremony of taking office of a single president, it is also the culmination of a large-scale fraternal presidential campaign. The presidential election was held on 26th of January for Alexandra.
Lukashenko voted.
86.82% of voters, totaling 536,293 per year. Broad military support for the current course. You reflect the turnout of Belarusians in the current elections of almost 86%. And this is also very important. About half of Russia's history took advantage of early voting.
And his final city of the grand inaugural electoral marathon. In a few minutes, the Belarusian leader will bring a few words to the audience about how this is happening. pay attention to the time.
Straight.
Broadcasts put your hand on the Constitution. The head of state pronounces the words of oath in Belarusian, then signs a special act, after which the chairman of the Central Election Commission presents a certificate to the President of the Republic of Belarus. You and I, of course, will be able to see all this live today in all the smallest details.
We continue to monitor the route of the motorcade. And here are two architectural symbols that unite the people around the great victory. And not only this feature of the great victory, which we already widely distinguish and will respond not only on March 9th. You are Stella, the whole dispute, the heroes of the history of the great patriotic war, the architectural sculptural complex, the visiting card of Minsk Belarusians. In general, it is remembered for the great and bronze sculpture of the entrance mat. Gradually getting closer and closer, says Independence. The president himself emphasizes the Palace of Independence. The object is incapable. It became the central part of the entire patriotic quarter. Well, judge the history of the great patriotic war, the whole world, the city of Kironina, which the motorcade has now passed through Victory Park, State Flag Square, the new building of the Supreme Court. Soon, very close to place another important sign at lunch, the new National Historical Museum. It will be a whole complex. The project will stop to cover all stages of our history, to show the difficult 1,000-year path of Belarusians. State, you agree, is a very difficult task, so the most advanced technologies will be collected here, so that the exposition will be interesting to people of different ages.
Again, these are beautiful shots of motorcade research, telegram work, and car drivers. And the elite special forces Aero, and, of course, magnificent views of our Belarusian Minsk, which are probably already familiar to the whole world.
The point is to note that today's ceremony consists of two main locations. This is directly the Palace of Independence, where the president will take the oath of office from minute to minute. We see these footage live show, all national TV channels. And then you and I will move to the State Flag Square. There have already gathered today employees of various movements of troops, and they will take the oath to the Russian people. And for the President of the Republic of Belarus, this is also a symbolic, very important part of today's ceremony. I will repeat all this again. We will definitely see with you. Live in all details in all. Deposit.
So the cortege arrives at the Palace of Independence, where the beginning of the ceremony, as we have already seen, awaits numerous guests.
A couple of words about what kind of footage we just observed. It was the moment of the removal of state symbols. Military personnel minted a shat and evenly emphasized the guard. It is safe to say that the hall of the solemn ceremony froze in anticipation of literally seconds remain until the most spectacular part of the ceremony. Hear the fanfare sounds, and we can immerse ourselves in this atmosphere and feel the emotions that reign now in the Palace of Independence. All attention is now on the screen. Egorovich Lukashenko.
Please sit down. President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. Dear compatriots and honored guests, firstly, I want to extend congratulations to us all. With the victory in the elections, this victory is not only for my president, but also for millions of our Belarusians. On January 26, we crossed another historic crossroads. We passed it confidently and wisely, not retreating from the road on which we have been walking for a third of a century. This is the path of peace and the creation of national unity and patriotism, justice, and broad opportunities for everyone. Everything that we call a state for the people is our Belarusian path. As at the very beginning, we again chose our independence by a majority, the continuity of the political course, and a confident future showed maturity in the Belarusian nation. A celebration of our unity. To swear an oath to the country and the Belarusian people in the year of the 80th anniversary of the great victory, the greatest responsibility. Today, we all take the oath of fan service, Father. We will not let anyone diminish the creative light or our history and that of our predecessors. Together, we have created a sovereign state. Do we have anything to be proud of? What did the world know about the Republic of Belarus some 3 decades ago, according to Hench? To whom we were interested, perhaps no one, but today our country has made a sound to the whole world. Today we matter, so we are focused on. And not everyone likes our independence, especially our honest and open position in the international arena. We have shown electoral sovereignty in the matter. Over the years, we have managed to create a standard for conducting elections that can serve as an international benchmark. Together, we've achieved our victories. I thank all the voters for voting for me, for your faith in the principles and values that underpin the achievements of sovereign Belarus and our achievements. We are pleased with the support of young people and their involvement in political life. This is valuable. The children did not see the gap of 1 year of the country's formation. It is objectively difficult for them to judge the correctness of what we chose then. They are ready to continue the way forward. We have raised a decent shift. We have someone to pass the baton to. Thanks to my trustees. We not only represented the interests of the program of the incumbent president, but also promptly resolved issues of concern. I am grateful to local authorities, election commissions, and law enforcement agencies for their tremendous work. We held elections with dignity, and your efforts are behind this success. We worked tirelessly, and not a single month. In the vanguard of the electoral campaign, teachers, doctors, as always. For the most part, our beloved women, thank you very much. Special thanks, I would like to express to the organizers and participants of numerous cultural and sporting events. They created an atmosphere of celebration and brought us together even more. Their high professionalism was shown by the media national Mediapolis formed. A serious agenda was formed without hype, without speculation, any shows and scandals. State media remains the main source of information for Belarusians. Today, I would also like to address my rivals, the candidates who have nominated themselves for the post of president. Thanks to you, we have shown a pattern of real pure competition from internal syndric manipulation by external forces. Thank you too. Who is not suitable for such a political and legal system, but continues to teach from abroad, relying on grants from Western democracies? An investigation by the new Trump administration has uncovered egregious cases of USAID funding. Coups and colorful revolutions across the globe, including in Belarus over the last 20 years. Remember that rebellion? Thanks to you. Having sold our motherland for these grants, or rather in spite of them, we became stronger. Because we safeguard the peace that you threaten, we maintain the well-being that you jeopardize by pleading for your masters to impose sanctions and bombs. You educated us to value and defend what we possess. People witness everything. You lack support and will not have any future. You and your overseers. There is absolutely nothing that can counter our unity. Let me elaborate. Half of the world aspires to our dictatorship, a dictatorship that truly represents the interests and affairs of our populace. Regarding freedom of speech, everything is in order. We possess more democracy than those who proclaim themselves as its model. Everyone in Belarus has the constitutional right and opportunity to speak out, but there is no need to call for the destruction of everything that has been created by many generations of Belarusians. We will not allow freedom of speech to be used as a club to destroy our own country. What can this lead to? We see. We have gone through a lot, applying our sovereign path and trying to turn our lives around. Endless criticism of our course, attacks on our people who occupy a firm state position. This is the price of state independence. It is the cost of our people's welfare. The Belarusian state development model has become a challenge to the system. The pseudo-liberal values and the fact that we do not back down or bend frankly irritates our opponents and enemies. Therefore, we have been hit by a waterfall of sanctions. We are clean, dishonest economic, competition in its most primitive form, and not only economic. But even in these conditions, we have done a lot, stepped forward, mastering new competencies in the country, and the space industry is fully developing. If we started with the production of equipment for space technology, today we participate in international research programs. We launch satellites, train specialists. We built the first nuclear power plant with the opening of the Belarusian National Biotechnology Corporation. We have mastered technology available only to a few countries in the world. We have occupied our niche in such an advanced field as digital technologies. Our optics microelectronics are in demand all over the world. We are known as the homeland of the largest Belazes. Every 10 tractors on the planet came off the assembly line of the Minsk tractor plant. But there are also Mazas, electric buses, passenger cars, and so on. Having developed a program for the development of the village literally in a couple of decades, but not only ensured its own food security in many positions, entered the top 10 world food exporters. Our medicine is one of the most high-tech and at the same time the most accessible in the world. We have 20 world centers of transplantation. This is all we are new Belarus, the country of trusts and creators. We have become strong, significant and noticeable, but no matter how strange it may sound, we are again walking on the edge of the abyss of the systemic geopolitical crisis, and not only we. The world is experiencing turmoil. Some challenges are rapidly replacing others. From hotspots, the escalation around us is only intensifying. NATO troops are standing on our doorstep and are doing everything to drag Belarus into the conflict. Reflect on the trials we faced in the past 5 years alone. In a single electoral cycle, we have confronted a pandemic and a major hybrid attack of the color revolution insurrection. Tightening sanctions, constant provocations on our western and southern borders. And we stood and stand without succumbing to provocations. And all this, the result of the global games of those who are confident that they have the right to dictate the will of the whole world, violating international principles and norms. On what basis did they assert this right? So we, the founders of the United Nations, are empowered to put the question in this way. 80 years ago, 50 countries around the world, including our republic, signed the UN Charter, assuming the highest responsibility to save future generations from the scourge of war. Reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equality of men and women, and in the equality of nations large and small. During this time, 143 states have joined us in pursuing our goals. And when it comes to justice, however, it doesn't matter at all what size your country is not on the map. The voice of Belarus always sounds loud and confident. During the years of our independence, we have become participants in major politics. I can say with all responsibility that our authorities and people have enough experience to withstand all the winds of history. However, we cannot afford to relax. We must ensure our country remains strong, prosperous, visible, and active on the global stage. Fortunately, we have many friends and allies, brotherly Russia, great China, partners of the Commonwealth of Independent States, virtually all the countries that today form the global majority. We are a nation worthy of respect. We are entering a new historical period. Belarus relies on a time-tested development strategy. It was determined long ago at Republican referendums and people's evenings of all Belarusian people's assemblies. We only adjust it according to the moment of our experience and our resources. The general direction of movement is the tradition of hard work, technology, tradition that is the heritage at the same time, as well as our own experience in building a sovereign Belarus. This is the moral basis that determines the unity of the people or living on the basis of the worldview, Belarus of justice, legality, and solidarity. This is the foundation on which the continuity of generations is built, the traditions that we must pass on to our youth. Diligence, the Belarusian prosavity of our people, which allowed us to survive the whirlpool of their history and glory, with discipline, professionalism, talent, and responsibility, allows us to achieve the most ambitious forces. I am not talking about the guerrilla struggle and the resilience of the Belarusian people. Technology is the key to a future self-sufficient economy and a guarantee of our independence, a tool for sustainable development and ensuring our security. The journey to 7 countries led by world leaders, that the projections for the 5-year quality plan and the new socio-economic development program should provide a higher quality of life for every Belarusian. We need to put progress at the service of the country and the person. Trends that are rapidly taking over the world today and will define it tomorrow. If the atom is a competition, if the robot, then the assistant is dissident engineering. Disease prevention is creation, not destruction. The outline of our strategy includes the pre-election program, and you know that everything we promise will be done together with you for the well-being of the country of the Belarusian people, so that Belarus can step forward into the future. A strong economy, our policy, and the key to success, a promising investment project, innovative production, new jobs, an important task for the next 5 years. Belarus has enormous, even unique scientific potential in many fields. We have everything to avoid losing the new intellectual race, so we need to strengthen our traditional design skills. Engineering and other schools to develop new competencies does not mean running headlong after new trends, on which it is now customary to hype artificial intelligence quantum. We will do the computer and the like there, but only for the benefit of our people. But we do not need and will not need technology for the sake of technology. They must bring real benefits and give concrete results. The main thing is to understand that from this whole array of innovations partially gives new qualities, saves resources, significantly facilitates and improves people's lives. We will not forget that any global goal is in principle unattainable. In order to address everyday problems, we need a comprehensive solution. The most important national project is the further development of our regions. Every corner of our country is a strong country. These are strong regions. We will cease attracting labor to Minsk and other major cities, given our country's compact size. They can effectively afford this state and convenient for people distribution of jobs throughout the territory. That's what we want. This is not enough for Rita from Komarin. To do this, it is necessary to equalize opportunities wherever Belarusians live. Large villages, as in the towns of regional centers, lead conditions should be like in the capital. High-quality roads are available. Transport priority number 1, 2 priority revision of housing policy. It is natural and understandable desires of every person to have their own corner. So the task of the state is a large-scale program of affordable rental housing tied to new jobs. The principle is simple, came to the plant agricultural enterprise. Despite all the challenges, we will maintain a socially oriented economic model based on the mutual responsibility of the state and society. We will continue to work on improving the efficiency of public administration and the ruthless, I emphasize, ruthless fight against bureaucracy and corruption. We will do this as always, classy and openly, and this problem. In these 5 years, we will decide. I promise you the role of the media is great here. They have no right to lag behind the actual agenda of real life and the needs of society. Don't slow down the pace. Improve technologically. Do everything so that the Belarusians know the rights. True, this is our strength outside and our strength. The task of the 5-year plan is to make tourism a national project, to open the world of our history, culture, language. This industry is not inferior in importance and economic potential, well, for example, to machine building. All the named tasks. And we will specify and approve the direction. as always at the All-Belarusian People's Assembly. Dear Belarus, a new period of presidential powers is always a new historical condition of expectation and task. Our priorities remain unchanged, that is peace. We aim for security, the well-being of Belarus, dignity, national prosperity, and the flourishing of every citizen. I know that next to me there are real like-minded people, people who are convinced that what we are doing is right. A dedicated lover of Belarus and true patriot. No state leader has as hardworking and reliable citizens as you, Belarusians. Therefore, I am a happy president, and Belarus is a country in which we want to live. We look beyond the horizon. We do everything so that our children and grandchildren, and then their children and grandchildren, live in their peaceful and prosperous state on their land. In the next 5 years, we need to gain enough power to charge for a long distance. Time has chosen us for this. Our victory is a new historic chance, perhaps to do even more for the benefit of native Belarus. Therefore, the main thing to remember is that you live in your country on your land. You should never be afraid of anyone anywhere. You are the masters in your own country. You make all decisions yourself. You have earned this right. Not only our generation, but previous ones earned it through great sacrifice. Your president has never abandoned you or asked you, will not betray you or run away. You are my whole life. You are my whole life. I will do my best to justify it. I have great trust in you. I wish all of us peace, goodness, health, happiness, joy, and inexhaustible energy for the realization of those grandiose tasks. Considering what has been put before us by previous generations, we have no other rights or opportunities. We must decide how to proceed and take action accordingly. Now is the moment to make choices and strive for new victories.
Comrade Head Commander of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Belarus troops, on the occasion of the inauguration of the President of the Republic of Belarus, were built by the State Secretary of the Security Council, Lieutenant General Volodovich.
Greetings, comrades. Comrades, soldiers and sergeants, cadets and warrant officers, officers and generals, dear compatriots and guests of the Belarusian land, assuming the position of head of state, I take on the greatest responsibility to faithfully serve the Belarusian people, the heroic people. It is a great honor, a duty, and a sacred duty. I assure you. What? The main priorities in my activities have always been and will remain national interests, security of the country and people. Throughout the years, we've built and strengthened our country together. Step by step, literally from zero, a system of ensuring national security was built. Together, they created a modern military organization of states, a reliable shield for Belarusian people's peaceful work, and an insurmountable barrier for any aggressor. Belarusians. People are peaceful, and Belarus is a peaceful country. We are for a just world and solving all problems through dialogue. But the years of sovereignty and independence have tested us many times for strength, and each of you has repeatedly proven your patriotism, loyalty to your oath, and Joism. Today, we are united, and united as never before. So we will certainly cope with all the challenges of the era, as our veterans did 80 years ago. They brought great victory to the people, as did we and those who resigned to reserve here today. Independence Palace 2020. After a very short duration, today we realize, we understand what would have happened to us if you and I did not survive here. Our duty. It is the duty of people in epaulets to strengthen the defense of the country, to protect the native land from any encroachments. Time has selected us, and we are responsible for this era. And before contemporaries, and most importantly, before descendants. Long live the hardworking, peaceful Belarusian people and their glorious defenders of the fatherland. Hooray!
Comrade Commander-in-Chief of Belarus Armed Forces, we, the military personnel and officers of the law enforcement agencies of the Republic of Belarus, we assure the entire Belarusian people and you, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that we are always ready to reliably protect the sovereignty, territory, and integrity of our motherland. Today is the day of the inauguration of the President of the Republic of Belarus. We solemnly swear, with dignity and honor, to bear the high title of Defender of the Fatherland, serve the Belarusian people and the President of the Republic of Belarus selflessly, defend our motherland courageously and skillfully, sparing not one's strength and life itself. We'll be back.
The ceremony of taking the oath of military personnel, probably with the Belarusian people and the President of the Republic of Belarus.
Completed.
Dear friends, you and I witnessed the solemn inauguration ceremony of the President of the Republic of Belarus.
On the State Square.
Flag military oath of allegiance.